Hello and welcome to the Reading Entertainment Podcast, episode 361 for July 31st, 2022. My name is Nathan Reitz-Bruth. Joining me this week, we have Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Bash.
Fan I hear in your background. I kind of only just noticed it when you started doing the intro.
Listen, it's been 108 degrees all week. I am not
Yeah,
turning
it's
it
been.
off. Yeah,
that's fine.
it's right now. It is colder at 98 degrees, and I don't want to die. So I'm not
I just
turning
wanted
that
to
off.
point it out now before we got like an hour and a half into this, and you're like, "Oh, by the way, this is annoying background noise." As long as you're aware and okay with it, that's fine.
Yeah, so, and then I also tried to fix it. I tried to enable RTX voice on my computer, and then the theory would be I would have RTX voice turned off for the intro, and then I would turn it on while we were talking. But it kept crashing. Like, it would not work for my audio setup for some reason, and I didn't have the patience to work with it, so you have to have the patience to deal with the fan in the background.
Our listener will be so disappointed.
I know, so disappointed with me, but I don't want to die, so I hope that they will forgive me. By the way, if you're out of the country, 108 degrees Fahrenheit is 43 degrees Celsius, which is very warm. It is. I did not check my mail for basically the entire week because I didn't want to go outside. Anyway, Connor, where can we find you?
You could find me. You could find you in the event that they show up late. You could find Aroa at aroa.website. One of those links that I would like to draw your attention to is Clinton's Core Classics: Rise of the Runelords, a first edition actual play podcast. We are starting our 6th and final season tomorrow, and I would be delighted if you checked it out.
How long do you expect that to last?
I was thinking about doing the math of it the other day, and I never ended up doing it, but probably like a year and a half.
So another year and a half before we do what we're doing now.
Probably a little bit. Well, yeah, probably a little bit less than that, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you can find me, Nathan Reitz-Bruth, obviously, website, but the one I want to pay attention to is Twitch, twitch.tv/Reeton. I'm there Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, playing whatever games I feel like, basically. And also, you can follow me on Twitter, so you can get updates on when I might miss a day or two on that. So, not Aroa. You're not Aroa. You're Connor. Connor, what games have you played this week?
So it's been a little bit of a disappointing game in the weekend, and I have gotten to put my feet in quite a different pools here, but League of Legends, I played a round of that and decided, you know what? I think I'm done with this, and I uninstalled League of Legends.
I accidentally did that.
You accidentally? How did you accidentally uninstall something?
I told you last week I updated my BIOS and it wiped out my game drive.
Oh, that's right. I guess that never really clicked with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the end of League of Legends for you and I.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
I picked up my Switch, and in preparation for a Steam Deck, I'm going through all of the games that I have on that SD card. And the intention is once I finish and once the Steam Deck shows up, it'll be nice and available for me to swap it from one to the other. So I played a little bit of Smash Brothers. I played a whole bunch of Jackbox game, like just stuff that was on there and available. And it was a nice little romp down memory lane. Golly gee, I'm talking about it like it's probably not going to be my power horse for a couple more days here, but the Switch was a good system.
Yeah, and you finally got your Steam Deck, or it's
no?
You said the case arrived.
Yeah, so I ordered a case, a screen protector, like at the end of the week in preparation of this thing showing up, and Steam has been dragging their feet with my order, so all of the stuff for it showed up before actually having it show up.
I did not put a screen protector on it, and just so you know, the case that comes with the Steam Deck is really good.
Not a case, but like a shell. Like,
Oh, like a silicone shell on it.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just a little plastic cover. I'd rather have something on there than nothing. It's got a port for the fan. Anyways, it's
I gotcha. I
I,
gotcha.
I want my Steam Deck, and it's been 7 days now, and I still have not. I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah, hopefully it arrives. Did you play anything else? Anything
I
notable?
Something notable. I played a round of Space Station 13, and then I noticed that things were going a little weird. Like the background was differently colored, and some textures were freaking out. And at the end of the round, the loading screen was like all blurry and fuzzy, like it was like someone designed it to. And that's what's called a disaster round. There are certain things you could do that could trigger this to happen. One of them is it's convoluted, way too convoluted for this intro. But when we spawned, the station was basically already blown up, and people were like, okay, if you're in security, the armory access is open. Load up, get together, try to survive. I unfortunately was stuck in my detective's office without a crowbar. So by the time somebody broke me out, things were way out of control.
Awesome.
I had a gun, which was cool, and it helped me for all of like 2 rooms before I got mowed down by murder bots and horror ghosts. And if you've never played Space Station 13, a lot of this is gonna sound like ridiculous, just crazy fantasy. And yeah, it was. But it's probably the most fun I've had in that game in quite some time. I've never seen something quite unique as that. Is like right at the start, everything is fucked.
Yeah, I mean that happens sometimes. So, it's good that you had some fun there, even though you only lived for what 20 minutes.
I think that's being generous. I got with some people. I unloaded my magazine, although it's not a magazine with a revolver, and then promptly got taught a lesson by murder robots and ghosts.
Well, that
I'm still
happens, man.
talking about it. I had a lot of fun.
Good, good. I'm happy that you had fun with that. And I'm gonna move on and talk about the games that I played. I
Mhm.
played Ask Dusk Falls, which I believe you came in on Twitch, and I beat that game.
I came in and I thought your stream was freaking out, like
Yeah,
lagging or something.
I,
And no,
I
that's just the game.
yeah, I mentioned on last week's podcast that I don't like the art style because it's like the backgrounds are super detailed and move around and stuff, but like the characters have very stilted animation. Like not just like, oh, this is PS2, it's wonky. It's like it's weird where it's kind of like pictures of people and like so their mouths don't move, but like they're saying dialogue and stuff. And it's not like an old school like anime game where it like shows a portrait of the person. It's like they're in the scene but just stuck there, and it's really weird. And I don't.
I have a good I have a good comparison. It's like any of those animations you see where there's like pieces of paper on popsicle sticks. It's
Yeah,
one step above that in quality.
yeah. And it was an interesting game. Is that it's like a Telltale game or a visual novel where you don't have much say in what happens. Like there are certain things you can do that will affect the storyline in the future, but ultimately it always ends out basically the same. Uh, while it did go through some things and say, this happened to this person and blah blah blah, but I don't really care. And then it also ended up on a cliffhanger, which is really annoying. It's included with Game Pass if you want to try it out. I would probably give it like a 5 out of 10. So kind of middling, mediocre game. And then I played some Dying Light 2 rather, and that is a really good game. I had a lot of fun with it. Killed some zombies. Found out a good way to grind out a certain or farm out a certain item that you need to do upgrades. And that is, you played Dying Light 1, right?
Correct. Yeah, I love that game.
Did they have like crafting and upgrading in your crafting and stuff in Dying Light 1?
Yes, they did. It was. I mean, like you could just play by picking stuff up constantly, but it definitely incentivized making stuff worthwhile.
Yeah, this game is different. You don't craft items, but you upgrade, like you have like you can put a flame upgrade on it or like an endurance upgrade to give it more power or durability. And you
Put a
upgrade
battery
those.
on it, and now it shocks.
Yeah, you upgrade those mods. And those mods will require a certain amount of stuff to upgrade the mods to make them more powerful. You have to get something called uncommon infected trophies. And that's the main one you need, and then the higher level upgrades you need more like a rare trophy or unique trophy. But you always need more and more uncommon trophies even at the higher levels. So those are pretty easy to get, but once you're needing 40 or 50 per upgrade, it's a pain in the butt. So I found out a way to do it is there's something called howlers in the game, which they're basically what's it, the witch, where she calls the other zombies to you, and if you are in a chase, so after the howler yells, it creates a chase, so like all the zombies in the nearby area come and swarm you. And if you're in a chase, those zombies will grant a higher amount of uncommon trophies. And so if you stand by the entrance of like a city, you can just kill a bunch of zombies, and if you ever feel unsafe, just back up towards the city and it will end the chase, and then just collect all of the zombies that you killed, and you'll get like 20 of the uncommon trophies. So I found out a good way to grind those out. And then I played on Friday some Multiverses, which is a Warner Brothers Smash Brothers. Yeah, it's Smash Brothers. It's all right. It's weird. We were talking to Ash about it. It's a free-to-play game with packs, so like $40, $60, and $100 or something like that. And you get more characters the higher level packs you get, and blah, blah, blah. Hate those. Hate it. But I do like that it's free-to-play. Kind of like League of Legends, where you can unlock characters with in-game currency. And I remember we were talking to Ash about it, and Ash was like, yeah, I'm going to make LeBron James be my main character. And we're just like, wait, what? Can you just back up there just a second? LeBron James?
I thought for sure that she was talking about somebody who just shared the name with the famous basketballman. But nope, it's the one and only.
Yep. They have, they have like Shaggy and Velma from Scooby-Doo, and Finn and Jake from Adventure Time. Is that Adventure Time?
Finn and Jake, yes.
Okay. And then they have, other characters like Superman and Wonder Woman from DC. So they have because they own all these properties, so it's a mix of all these characters, and it's kind of weird. I would say it's weirder. It's a weirder ensemble than like even Super Smash Brothers is.
They have Rick from Rick and Morty, so popular in multiverse stuff right now.
Yeah. Do they have it on there? Is he on there? I never fought him.
I'm like 90% sure, but I am not 100% sure of that.
I don't know if he's in the beta, because I know there's way more characters are going to be launched after the beta's done. So I didn't see him. I don't recall seeing that character.
He is not in there, but hackers have already imported him. So as an honorary mention of our stories today, Rick in Multiverses.
Well, and then they also have another hack. The best hack is they put the Nintendo 64 version of Superman as one of the mods. So you can play. Is it
just like a low poly model, or is it like straight up the N64 one?
I think they have imported the low poly model. I believe it is resembling the N64 version. That's what they were aiming for. I don't think they straight up took the code, but they have made it look like the N64 version of Superman. Anyway, it was fun. It was a good game. Not the N64 version of Superman, but this game was pretty good. I do think it's weird that you have Superman fighting Shaggy, and Shaggy has a chance.
Don't you remember all those memes where Shaggy's only like using 0.04% of his full power?
Yeah, that's.
They were everywhere, and they were obnoxious, and I guarantee that's what they're going for. Probably. He has like Superman auras and stuff.
Oh, and he can go Super Saiyan.
Right.
One of his moves is to go Super Saiyan. But we're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about something else. and I'm still going to talk about me before we hop into the stories. On Thursday, I was having a call with one of my coworkers because we're trying to figure out the best way to image new devices because it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. We're just talking about how to image new devices, and he was asking me for some help. And I get a knock on my door. Well, first off, I get a phone call, and I ignore the phone call. And I assume the phone call was from my property management people, now that I think about it. But I didn't recognize the number right off the bat, so I just didn't answer it. And then I get, like, a minute later, I get a knock on my door, and I'm like, what the heck? Hey, excuse me, I gotta go check my door. Somebody fucking knocked. That's weird. And I open my door, and it wasn't a police officer, which was awesome. Because I always think whenever I get a knock on my door, I'm like, it's the police. I'm getting arrested. I open it up, and the lady's like, hey, there's a fire. And I was like, oh, shit. And I go and I hang up the call with my friend or my coworker. And I check. And right down the road, there's like this huge, just like black smoke coming up from the bottom of the hill. And I want to read you an article or part of an article about that. It said, early on, the flames threatened to spread over a nearby hill and threatened more structures as firefighters worked in defensive mode and took frequent hydration breaks amid temperatures reportedly hit 109 degrees in the area. Those more structures is me. I'm really happy it didn't come up to the more structures.
Chin up, buddy. We'll get him next time.
Yeah, so that was actually a pretty close call. I am not at the exact area that because there's a hill that comes up from where that building was, and that's towards the back of the park. But I live in like a manufactured home lot, and you know those, you know how they're like fucking like 8 feet apart is all, like that's all you get. Like that's the most you get. It's just a few feet apart. And so if one of our houses went up, we'd all be fucked. Like they would all just burst into flames. So I'm really happy that we avoided that. So good job, firefighters. I like having firefighters. That's I don't like police, but I like firefighters. What about you?
Nobody makes a song called "Fuck the Fire Department."
I know, right?
Going around saving people's lives, those bastards.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on, and we're going to talk about some news stories. Some of these news stories Oroa brought up. He said he would be here, and I haven't heard from him in like an hour. So
I actually do have a Roa update. He installed an NVMe drive and borked up his computer, and he just wanted an update to see if we were still going to talk about those things. So maybe just push him back later into the schedule.
I am not talking about. I'm talking about my house getting caught on fire. How is that boring shit?
Excuse me.
I'm gonna set your house on fire and see how boring you think it is. Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably just take care of it.
No, you wouldn't. It'll be at night when you're asleep. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's recorded, Nathan. That's a very good thing to do.
I'm not actually going to do that. That's all the way in Illinois. That's a long drive for me to show some vengeance. I would get like 20 minutes into my drive and be like, what the fuck am I doing? Just stop. I'm turning around. So Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game. We spoke about this before when they did the Sony conference. They had Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was being released, or they were remaking it. And apparently it's been... No, they were going to remake it like Final Fantasy VII. Right?
Oh, you mean they were going to make it bad?
Yeah, they were going to make it really bad. And so so Knights of the Old Republic has been paused, and apparently they are not working on that at the moment. It says the hotly anticipated new Star Wars game is in serious, old Star Wars game is in serious trouble, according to people familiar with the project. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, a remake of the 2003 role-playing game, is delayed indefinitely as developers at Austin, Texas-based Aspire Media try to figure out what comes next. They also abruptly fired the game's art director and design director this month. In a series of meetings throughout July, Aspire's 2 studio heads told employees that the project is on pause and that the company will look for new contracts and development opportunities. Said the people who were not authorized to speak publicly about the situation. And after that quote, hi Aroa.
Oh, cool. I see. I was afraid that I came in. You asked if I was there, and then I wasn't because my sound settings were all fucked. But now we're good.
Oh, we're good. We're good. So, and by the way, Connor said we were talking about boring stuff, and we were not talking about boring stuff. We were talking about my house almost catching on fire. So,
Excuse me.
Are you talking about the fire in the park?
Yeah.
it wasn't in the park. It was down the hill. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. So it could have easily spread up the hill and at my house, and then I
Had
would
an
be
entire ass landmass between them, and he's not even.
not
Any-
not an entire landmass. Like
It's a hill. That is literally a massive land
you know
by
what's
definition.
you know there's like burnable stuff on that hill, right? Like that will catch on fire.
Why don't you guys clean up your hills? Nasty ass hills.
Grass? Do you know what grass is?
Do you know that you're on a podcast right now?
Yes.
Grass doesn't burn.
Yes, it does.
Only if it's dead.
It is
Water your lawn.
It's 109 degrees outside. All the grass
Water
is dead.
your lawn.
No, it's
You act like you're on the side of the country having a massive drought or something.
Anyway, what do you think, Roa? Because fuck Connor. What do you, what do you think about KOTOR getting indefinitely delayed?
Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what is most curious to me is that Aspire saying like they're delaying it until they figure out what to do. So it's like it makes it sound like things aren't going so well for Aspire, which is unfortunate because
didn't they just release a game that didn't do very well or something? Is that
they're so Aspire is generally a porting house.
Yeah.
So they did the Switch re-releases, remake, whatever, of KOTOR and KOTOR 2 and The Force Unleashed.
And
Republic Commando
and Racer
and Subs of Zombie
and Myth Force. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. But they're usually like pretty cool. They do decent work for the most part.
Yeah.
So
and I guess what they used to do, before they transitioned into doing like Switch ports, is they made ports for the Mac.
Yeah. I believe they're the ones that did the Sims 3 port. Maybe. Maybe not.
And Borderlands 2, I think.
They definitely did Borderlands.
Yeah.
Looks like they were not the ones who did the Sims 3. I totally thought they were, but in any case, yeah, they kind of got their footing by doing macOS ports of every PC game released since 1998 or so.
Yeah. Because no actual company wants to do that. Hopefully, because they're a porting house, they don't necessarily have their own development. Typically, it's usually just taking the existing code and tweaking it to work on Mac or iOS or whatever. And so maybe they found that making
he says
this
as
game...
if that's a trivial job.
Oh no, it's not. But it is a different job.
Yeah. They're probably not very large, so hopefully taking on another couple of contracts is going to be fine.
Yeah. So hopefully this Knights of the Old Republic does get made at some point, because I know a lot of people were interested in playing it. And by a lot of people, I mean me. I was interested in playing an updated Knights of the Old Republic, because while I still think that game's great, I also realize that it's 20 years old now. and it could use some updated graphics and gameplay mechanics.
Is there
Yeah,
not
it can
something
be made
community
fun.
made that could help with that though?
I'm sorry, what was that, Connor?
Is there not something community made that could help modernize the game?
There are things that can help modernize the game a little bit on PC, obviously, and I haven't looked too far into that. I know a lot of people. When I was doing my playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic, I had some people come in who were like, "Oh yeah, I'm a speedrunner on this game," and I'm like, I'm a slow runner on this game. Take forever." And they said that the PC version does have some patches that make it run a lot better, because just trying to play the base KOTOR game on your PC is kind of difficult, because it wasn't really designed for, Windows 10, and so you have to add some mods and stuff to get it running pretty well. But there are updates. They also have updates for KOTOR 1 and 2 that reinstall removed content to flesh out the story a little bit, especially with KOTOR 2, which is all sorts of janky when you try to play it, and they have just tons of missing content because it never got finished because they only had 1 year to make it. Anyway, hopefully Aspyr can make this game, but it hasn't been canceled, it's just been delayed. So hopefully that means we'll see it in 14 years or something, I guess. I don't know. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about Charter.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
did you want to say something?
I want to know what that art director did to get fired.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, but it wasn't just the art director.
I guess, like,
I mean-
I hope it wasn't just like, oh, we're downsizing because the economy sucks and recession. But like, I wonder if they did something.
I doubt it, especially since it says Aspyr also abruptly fired the game's art director and game director.
Design
So-
director.
Design director. Which tells me that, because those are two separate things.
They were probably fucking.
Or
Or
they went into a business meeting once and they're like, "Do you see what they did with Grand Theft Auto? It's that easy. Let's
Yeah.
just have AIs upscale it."
yeah, it'll be great. No,
And then they were escorted from the building.
I would think that since if it was just the art director or just the design director, maybe they did something. But since they let both of them go, that tells me that the studio was like, "Hey, we're moving away from KOTOR, at least for now, and we're gonna fire these two people and have the team work on something else."
But like, why
that's what
wouldn't
that
you use? Why wouldn't you repurpose? Like why those two specific people and not like that they're getting rid of all their artists, like or something like that.
I understand what you're saying, but it's very possible that these two people were specifically they're specifically meant for these roles, and they would be good for Knights of the Old Republic.
Or
And either
saying,
um,
maybe they were caught fucking.
but my idea is probably those people were brought in to do one thing, design director, art director. And if we're going to have these people just be on a porting house and go back to porting games instead of making a game, we don't need an art director and game director or design director.
But like design director, okay, but like
you don't need an art director if you're porting a game.
But you're also saying like you don't need like from that logic, you don't need any like creative people really like at all, because all you're gonna do is just be grabbing the old assets and putting them into a new engine, like
right. And we don't know if they did lay off a bunch of art.
but
it doesn't say they did.
But I'm saying, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like from what we can tell from this article, Aspyr specifically just fired these two people.
Yeah, and I still would like to think that it's just because they can't. They're delaying the game. They're canceling the game, and so they don't need these two people. When
I
they,
hope they cancel it.
I
It's gonna be bad.
it probably will, but I want to play it. Uh,
I-
Let's move on to Charter murdering somebody. So Charter ordered to pay over $7 billion in damages following technician's murder of elderly customer. This one caught me by surprise. This is from Gizmodo. It says, on Tuesday, Connecticut-based telecom giant Charter Communications was found liable for over $7 billion in damages after a Texas court ruled that it was responsible for one of the technicians robbing and murdering an elderly customer.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the horrific murder reportedly occurred in 2019 and involved an 83-year-old woman named Betty Thomas. Roy Holden Jr., the Charter technician, reportedly provided services for the woman after she called in reporting issues with her TV bundle. The technician reportedly returned the next day in an official Spectrum van wearing his company uniform, stole credit cards from the woman's purse, and commenced to murder her. Thomas was reportedly found dead in her living room by one of her family members. Holden, meanwhile, was eventually arrested and sentenced to life in prison in April 2021. So then the family sued Charter for negligence in 2020, and apparently they won because it appears that Holden, the technician, had a history of breaking into old people's houses and stealing their shit. And Charter didn't do anything about it. So it says, okay, this is bad too. I shouldn't laugh. It was revealed Holden had a history of stealing credit cards from elderly Spectrum customers and had previously complained to his employers of enduring economic hardship following a divorce. Making matters worse, Thomas's family was reportedly billed $58 for the service that ultimately resulted in Betty Thomas's murder.
Jesus fucking
Hey,
Christ.
listen, I'm sorry about your grandparents, but someone's got to pay for that cable.
Yeah, that's $58.
Okay. So going along with that, the article later quotes one of Charter's lawyers as having said that he was off duty at the time.
But he was still in a Spectrum van.
Yeah, but like, why did they bill her if he was supposed to not be working at that time?
Well, no, because he went the day before. That's what it was. The $58
Oh,
was the $58 was the day before.
Okay, I see. But yeah, like I was up until you pointed out that he had a history of it. I was like, it doesn't really seem like it's Charter's fault, but no, it's Charter's fault now.
Yeah, he had a history of breaking into their houses and stealing their credit cards and stuff, and not actually being held liable for that. So I don't know.
That's a little bit of a whoopsie daisies.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Like, I am surprised that they're being fined that much money, and I'm trying to find out what the real settlement was in this article.
It's not over. It's not over yet.
Oh, okay.
It was not settled. The court is ordering them to pay $7-something billion, but the Charter lawyers are going to appeal.
Of course they are.
Which, yeah, duh. They're not going to pay out $7 billion to one family. You kidding me? I
would be so happy. I mean, I'm not really close with my grandparents, so I'd be like, whatever. $7 billion. No, but like that I don't think maybe $7 billion's too much. But, at least enough. I'd say 20 million probably would be fair. 7 billion seems like a bit much for the telecommunications company. But also, I hate telecommunications companies, so 7 billion sounds perfectly fine for me.
Yeah, I just want Charter to have to pay, a couple $1 billion.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Yeah, just do it. They screw over enough people. It's fine that it's finally time that they get screwed over a bit. Let's move on, and we'll talk about Meta. God, I hate I hate it. The Oculus Quest 2 VR just got a price increase by $100, and I'm sure they're blaming inflation,
Basically,
which is
yeah, it's bullshit.
inflation is the companies deciding that you have to pay more for stuff and then saying inflation because it's a scare word or buzzword.
Yeah, because like they could cut the price in half, probably still be making a profit on it, and it wouldn't even matter.
Yeah.
But that would hurt their bottom line by like 1% maybe. So can't have that shit.
Oh, hi, Zoe.
But yeah, that's really the gist of the whole article. They wrote a lot of words to just point out that Facebook is increasing the price by $100, which I think is its original price.
No. The original price was $300, from what I remember.
I thought it was 400.
I think the Oculus Quest 2 has always been 300.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, and then now they're upgrading it. Now they're upping it to $400, or $399. That's one problem I have with Ars Technica is that they always write too much.
And that it's because the Quest 2 was like shittier than the Quest 1 in like every way other than it had a newer processor. Like the newer SoC in the Quest 2, if you could just rip that out and throw it in the chassis of the Quest 1, you'd have like an actually really good standalone VR headset overall.
I wonder if that's what the Quest 3 is going to be.
A good headset? Not the way that they're going.
Unlikely.
No, like hell, I'm surprised that they haven't like I don't know, like tried to sell Facebook phones again, and then they're just like put it in this cardboard box and put it on your head. That's the new VR headset, Metaverse.
Yeah, we have all these Facebook phones just laying around from 2012. Yeah.
No,
so
they're just and they're not changing anything about the hardware. They're just making it cost more for no reason.
It says there's a head strap that's called the Elite Quest 2 head strap that they sell.
Yeah.
And then it says instead the company gives a shoulder shrug, offering a single free game, the popular $30 rhythm game Beat Saber, for anyone who buys the VR system between August 1st and December 31st. So
yeah, they own that game.
Yeah,
they own the devs behind Beat Saber, so they're not actually like they're not doing anything. They're just giving that away, and there's like several $100 worth of DLC available for that game.
Yeah.
So, gee, how wonderful of them.
Yeah. But basically, they're giving you a $30 game to pay $100 more. So that doesn't sound great. Well, I mean, to be fair, Beat Saber is a really fun game, but
yeah,
it's not worth $100.
No.
They're supposedly complaining about like, let me see, what do we got? Chip shortages.
And yet Valve's like, hey, our chip shortages are gone. We'll be good. We're bumping everybody up.
Like, oh my god, there's a second page? I didn't even realize there was a second page.
Wait, there's a second page?
Yeah, there's a second page.
I'm not switching to the second page.
That is one whole page of a company apologism.
Pretty much. Something about the Cambria system, which is their next VR headset.
Cambria,
which I mean,
questions,
yeah, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. The point is, don't buy a fucking Meta Quest 2. If you do, buy it secondhand.
If you're wanting to get a headset right now, I mean, we've got the Valve Index, which is expensive.
Yeah.
Or what is it, the Vive 2 Pro?
Those
are the best ones, right?
those are the best ones. I wouldn't do that either. I would say don't right now. Like
Yeah,
unless you already have a top tier gaming PC, uh, I would say just wait for the PSVR 2
yeah. If
because
you, but I mean, that's if you have a
Yes,
PS5.
yeah, I
I
know.
Yeah,
mean, like, if you are going to do VR, and I like don't do the Quest just because it's a standalone and that's not so good. I guess I agree with you, but I don't think it needs to be a perfect like top of the line PC. We know somebody, Ash, in the Discord. They just bought a first generation Vive, and that's fine. Like as far
Yeah,
as top end VR headsets, the first generation Vive is fine. Anything
yeah,
higher than that's bells and whistles, but you don't really need much better than that.
yeah. I would agree with that. I was saying if you're going to buy something new, if you can go secondhand,
yeah,
then I don't think that there's anything wrong with buying a Quest 2 off of like eBay or something. If you can find it for like 250, like
yeah.
I think that would be worthwhile. Uh,
I
because
the
then you
only
can use it connected to your good gaming PC, and then you got the best of both worlds.
the only thing I will say is you're definitely gonna have to replace whatever foam strap stuff they have
Well,
on the
yeah,
inside. Like
yeah.
that is,
You want to replace the face gasket because it's gross.
yeah. I had a friend who came over, and she at the time was like, let's do VR, and so we were switching off Beat Saber, and I was like, you do realize that like I have played this and like got sweat all over, and she's like, it's fine, and just because
No,
they
it's not.
already, yeah, it's not, but they already had VR, so they were kind of used to it. So,
Because
um,
I remember the Vive face gasket,
uh huh,
and like I'd take it off for like a minute to like drink something or just go to the bathroom or whatever, and come back and put it on, and it's like putting a cold towel
yeah,
just on part of your face, and it just knowing that it's cold sweat, it just feels gross.
yep.
And that I replaced it with a leather one, and that is way better.
And
And
I'm gonna say let's move on, but we're
yeah.
not gonna move on to the next story. What I want to ask
Oh.
is, I'm not gonna go through where to find you or what games you played, but I did want to ask you what your thoughts are on the Steam Deck.
It's fantastic, honestly. Um, I've been I've been using it kind of as an excuse to play games that like sitting in front of my gaming PC. I'm like, well, I'm kind of obligated to either interact with other people while I'm on here because I have Discord just kind of sitting over here, and like I should be playing games that like will run on the gaming PC and won't run anywhere else. So like I've been able to use the Steam Deck as an excuse to like play Vampire Survivors, which is like I've been playing 26.6 hours of it in over the course of this week.
That's awesome.
And it's so good. But like I was not going to touch it on my main PC because it's like, well, why would I whenever I can play like literally anything else? Um, but it is surprisingly like the performance is impressive. I don't notice the fan really. I was
No, the
worried
fan's
about
pretty good.
that.
Yeah, fan.
Yeah.
I played last night for about half an hour to 45 minutes. I was just doing some carrier missions in Dying Light 2, and I barely noticed the fan.
Um, I I wanted to ask you about that. Like, did you like have to turn everything all the way down in Dying Light 2 to make it run not like shit? Or am I doing something wrong?
I mean, I did turn it down to like low settings, but
Okay.
also what I did was you can set individual game profiles, and I set that
Yeah.
individual game profile to run at 40 hertz.
Okay. See, that's something I have to get used to,
Yeah.
is if I'm gonna run high end games / games that just generally run like shit anyway, I need to get used to them running at 30 FPS.
Thankfully with this, if you do that, if you basically put it on low settings and you crank it down to 40 hertz, it runs at 40 frames a second. It does not budge from 40 frames a second.
Because I was playing Control on there as well, and that like it would kind of range between 40 and 45, and I just decided to say fuck it, and I just locked it to 30, and that was a more pleasurable experience. So you can lock it to something, because the little bar thingy, it only lets me do it like 15 and then 30 and then 60. So
I don't
is there a
have
way to
it.
customize that?
Yes, because that's not what you need to. That's not what you need to control. What you do is you basically put it on unlimited, and then you adjust the frequency or the hertz of the monitor itself.
You can change the refresh rate of the screen that granularly?
Yes.
Oh.
And it ranges anywhere from 40 to 60 is what you can put it at.
Oh, okay.
And that they put that in there because apparently a lot of people were requesting that you be able to run things at 40 hertz, because there's kind of a trend now where 40 hertz is like, it's that much better than 30 frames a second, and a lot of games will run at 40. Yeah, a lot of games will run at 40 frames a second. And it's better to have a game stuck at a frame rate like that rather than jumping around between 40 and 60 frames a second all the time.
Yeah, I definitely rather have that than being stuck at 30.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, like it is really great, and it, like, as I imagine that everyone on the internet has already said, it's amazing whenever it comes to emulation.
Oh yeah.
Like it'll run everything. I played a PS3 game on it, and it worked beautifully. PS2 games work about as well as they do on my big PC. Like, it's almost flawless, and the tools that people have made for kind of making that process almost effortless, it's great. And I love being able to like open Spotify and Discord and be able to switch between those on a portable device.
Well,
It's
and apparently
exactly what you expect.
Elden Ring runs way better on the, I was gonna say the Switch, but the Steam Deck.
Well, isn't that because they do a shader pre-cache thing?
Yeah, it's because
there.
the I guess the PC version, with our computers it wouldn't matter, but if you have a lower end computer, it'll do like hitching because when it's loading up the shaders.
Oh no, it does.
Oh,
it
okay.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because Elden Ring runs on DirectX or whatever, when it comes over to the Steam Deck, the Steam Deck only uses Vulkan because it doesn't have access to the DirectX stuff. So it's got to translate that, and part of that translation process is caching all those shaders already.
Well, it's they
let
you download the pre-cache or the pre-generated shaders because the hardware is the same.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have shader hitching on consoles, because the shaders are pre-generated, calculated.
So anyway, it's got its ups, it's got some downs. Like playing Dying Light, it's great, but it's still really, like, for a game that massive, playing it on a portable device just feels weird to me. Maybe it's because I'm switching from a 27-inch screen to a 7-inch screen. That might be it. Also, the layout of the controls, switching from a controller to
that.
It's a little weird to get used to, especially since I use Xbox controllers mainly, and so I was like, oh, my D-pad's or to the side of my joystick, which is weird.
Oh, that's not even where I'm having issues. Then again, I also generally use a PS4 controller, but
okay.
No, I'm having issues in that my wrist hurts after holding it for a while.
Yeah.
Or like playing it, like laying down, holding it in front of me. like my arm will fall asleep, or like it. I'm kind of learning how to hold it better to where that isn't as much of a problem. Kind of like what everyone had to do with the Switch. Uh, but
Because it
yeah, it's
has, yeah.
definitely like if they could like shave, I feel like half a pound off of that thing, it would probably make for a much better experience. But
Just do it
I also
yourself.
get yeah, I'll just
just
yeah
do it yourself. Just take a half a pound off of that.
Just take off the case.
yeah
You
play
don't
off
need it.
bare silicone.
Silicon. But we're gonna move. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about a different story. This, I believe, is a story you brought up, and I have no idea what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
what's this about Minecraft?
So you know how like most games that have like multiplayer and like private servers, uh, kind of have it to where you can do whatever the fuck you want on the private server because you're the one hosting it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Who cares? Whatever. Yeah.
Well, Minecraft is implementing or has implemented in the Java version, because you can't really run private Bedrock servers, but in the Java version, now you can be banned from private servers by Mojang/Microsoft.
Oh wow.
So if you are in a private server and someone reports your chat logs as saying something that is against the Minecraft's player, don't be mean to each other policy, uh, you can just lose the ability to play online even on private servers.
Yeah, and let's go through some of the things that can get you banned. It says what can get you banned. Can we get banned for cussing or swearing? And they said no. The type of behavior that will get you banned is hate speech, bullying, harassing, sexual solicitation, or threatening others. Like telling somebody you're going to burn down their house or something. Just
All
throwing that
right.
out there.
So
Yeah.
so so that's all good.
Right.
Sure. But it shouldn't happen on private servers.
Yeah. Whoever the owner of that server is should be able to say, "Hey, I am going to ban you for this." They should have control
Mhm.
over who isn't banned. So I agree with you, and I think that this is a not a great move. I don't know how Mojang is going to. Do they watch your private servers then?
No. So Mojang implemented a few patches ago, uh essentially as a signing thing
Yeah.
for all messages that get sent. So all of your chat messages are cryptographically signed, meaning that they are tied to your account, or at least can be proved to be associated with your account. Um, Meaning that someone has to report a message, and then the logs of the chat on the server will get sent to Mojang, and then they can verify based on the cryptographic signature of the messages who was actually doing the talking, and then do banning if they feel so inclined
Right.
based on that. So actually, in protest of this, there are a lot of private servers which are introducing mods that intentionally break that cryptographic signature so that it can't be verified, so that there's no way to actually enforce the ban.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
and
Yeah.
like if that's what it takes, then fucking so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I this is such a strong arm move for no. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is. I don't get it. 'Cause I don't know why you as Mojang are saying I want to do more work to make my make this community feel more like a police state.
Yeah.
I don't.
And
I have an idea.
what's that?
Because when you ban an account, then if they want to play again, they got to buy another account.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily it, but I agree that it's dumb that they're doing it. I can totally understand having these rules for a public server, but
Well,
if it's a private,
or for realms, because Minecraft allows you to buy a private server and rent it through through their UI, through their resources, and like that would be fine if it was that you can't connect to realms anymore, or for a week because you said the N word. But that's not what they're doing. They're saying if you're racist in a private server, and and like someone joins that server and sees it and reports you, then you're liable to get banned.
yeah, that's or if somebody gets mad like and just is like, oh well, have I have this saved from a month ago that I got mad at, and now I'm mad at you, so I'm gonna report you or whatever. Not that that's likely to happen, but it could happen. There are other things that are banned. Hate speech is talk that is intended to offend, insult, intimidate, or threaten an individual or group based on a trait or attribute such as sexual orientation, religion, color, gender, or disability. These behaviors will have the consequence of temporary suspension or permanent ban depending on the severity and frequency. I know somebody who I said that there's I tried to explain that there are certain levels, like hate speech is a bad thing, and their reply was, "There's no such thing as hate speech," and I was like, "I think you are mistaken."
No, gamer words exist.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there's no getting around that.
You can't get banned in single player, and it says, "Will you ban people for talking about suicide?" It said, "No, we are deeply." No, we deeply care about our players, and if we are informed about a threat or imminent harm, we attempt to provide players in crisis with support, resources, in times of need. That would be shitty, right? Like, this person threatened to kill themselves, and like, whoa,
Well,
let's ban them.
so the reason that question is there, I guarantee you, is because because they supposedly worked with like private people that run private servers before they made this decision.
Right.
And I guarantee you that somebody brought it up because on other platforms that is a thing. On YouTube, on TikTok, like
Yeah.
because it's all automated. Now they're saying that no, all reports are going to be reviewed by a human being, which yes, that is probably going to be the case, but just like with every other platform, can we trust those humans? Because chances are we can't. Because chances are they're going to be somebody who's getting paid maybe minimum wage, who's going to skim over it for certain keywords, and if they don't like what it says, they're going to click the button that the form says to click.
Yeah.
It's just Notch in his free time moderating his game.
Yeah. Well, he sold it. He doesn't have anything to do with it anymore. It says, why does Mojang need to be involved in third-party server player reporting? Why not just Realms? It says all Minecraft players should expect the Minecraft community guidelines to apply to their Minecraft experience. We strive to ensure that all online play is safe and inclusive, but not all servers provide players with a way to report or resolve violations of these guidelines. Player reporting is an additional resource for players who experience abuse, which can happen on any multiplayer Minecraft session, including private servers. If you're
Which
joining a
is
private server,
bullshit.
yeah, that's your choice.
Yeah.
So, there's a
like
lot of stuff here. Like you can appeal if you get banned, and sign a form. I actually had to do that. Months ago when I got banned from Twitter, I had to like submit an appeal, and then they would reject it, and then I submitted another appeal, and they did it like 4 or 5 times before they finally had an actual human look at it.
Mhm.
And so they say it's going to be a human that's verifying these, but it might be a human glances at it and just clicks ban, which I think it happened for when I was banned from Twitter, before I actually had somebody actually sit down and read what happened on Twitter. So I could see people putting in, multiple appeals before they're actually unbanned from Minecraft. Anyway, anything else to say about this, Connor? You've been oddly quiet.
I don't give a fuck about your Twitter ban.
Well, I don't. I meant Minecraft ban. What about my Minecraft ban?
I know. No, it's dumb that it's gonna happen on private servers, but like, don't be a jerk.
Yeah, yeah. Don't say the
Man, I
N-word.
went to the National Socialism Minecraft server. Those guys were jerks. It's like, well, what the fuck do you expect?
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the VR chat security update. All sorts of security from Aroa this week.
Yeah, well, and both in the completely wrong way. So this is another situation of developers who are completely detached from their community, doing something that they shouldn't fucking be doing, and pissing a lot of people off in the process.
Yeah.
This is a lot more egregious, however, and hurts people who really don't deserve to be hurt by this. So major thing is that the VR chat devs have implemented easy anti-cheat in the VR chat client. Uh, if you're not familiar with easy anti-cheat, it's because you don't look at the screen whenever you open like any game that's come out in the last several years with online play.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a product that Epic made and is now the de facto for anti-cheat in online games. Dead by Daylight uses it. I think Rust uses it. Halo Master Chief Collection used it.
Team Fortress
Uh,
2 uses it.
no, it doesn't.
Oh no, they
Um,
use VAC, right?
they have Valve anti-cheat.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is notorious for not working particularly well
Yeah.
and being rather trivial to get around. However, at the same time, it is also notorious for blocking mods, completely legitimate mods, mind you. And that is kind of the main problem here. There is a massive community in VR chat that is focused on making mods that allow the client to do things that normally it can't. Major items that I have seen people complaining about are things like being able to perform sign language in the game and have it translated into text on the screen, or even text to speech,
That's really
so
neat.
that yeah, nonverbal people or deaf people can communicate with each other and communicate with non-deaf people.
Do you have to have,
Look,
so I do have a question about that. Do you have to have the index controllers to do that?
I have absolutely no idea. I imagine that it would be something that you do with the Leap. Is that it? The Leap controller? You know what I'm talking about? I
No.
think it's Magic Leap. Um, it's a little box that you have that is much more granular, like does like a 3D representation of your hand in the virtual world.
That's neat.
It's quite impressive for being only $100. But in any case, um, there's also closed captions for videos. Closed captions are not natively supported by VRChat. There is a mod that implements those so that in the many Hangout worlds where people sit around and watch movies or anime or whatever, you don't have to have the subtitles baked into the video to have subtitles. It can show them on the screen, and it can even take input from audio and automatically do subtitles from them. All these are things not possible in the base client. Similarly, people have solutions for those who are lesser able to move around. While there is a seated mode for VR chat, there is no I am bedridden mode for VR chat. And so there are tools that people have made with modded clients to enable people who are bedridden to be able to play VR chat, which I imagine is quite liberating. The examples continue very long way. There's the obvious. Also, there are modded clients for erotic role play, which is
Yeah.
extremely popular because, of course, it is. Uh, and you know what? That good on them. Like those people, let them do what they want.
But
Well,
Easy
VR the
Anti-Cheat
VR
might not let them do that.
it won't. It absolutely won't. That's the main problem. So the VR chat devs have said that the reasoning for this is because modded clients cause problems for them, cause problems for those who develop worlds and avatars for VR chat, and cause problems for end users because there are a variety of modded clients that will enable things like giving you infinite favorites or allowing you to search for avatars in the game by name. But they're also keyloggers, and they'll steal your account. Which, I mean, for one thing, uh, if you guys if just enforced two-factor authentication, that wouldn't really be a problem. And for another thing, I would really like to see data on that.
Yeah.
Because somehow I doubt that that is actually a big problem. I don't see that being a thing with how vast this community is and how much communication goes on between people in the VR chat community. I can't see there being a client that goes around that is passed around that often that has issues like that, because I guarantee you that most of them are open source and somebody would have already found that shit.
Yeah.
This reads to me, being the cynic that I tend to try to be, as infinite favorites. That's like the only thing that we have in VR Chat Plus. We can't let people have that for free. We got to
Yeah.
crack down on it.
What does that do?
VR Chat Plus?
No, favorites. I have no idea.
Oh, it's literally bookmarking like worlds and avatars that you like so that you can come back to them easily
And
without
that's
having to go get them.
and
And that is
that's
by default you have 25, I think, avatars that you can store in your favorites list. And I think 100 worlds that you can store.
interesting.
If you pay for VR Chat Plus, that is quadrupled on both accounts.
I see.
I don't know the other benefits off the top of my head, but that's like the major one. I think it's some other dumb stuff that's like
Imagine
you
if you
have like
only
a
had 25 web pages that you could bookmark and then you had to pay to bookmark more.
yeah.
That's
And
silly.
like to give credit and what I would have liked to have said more to that to give them credit, because I did like them quite a bit. They don't like make you pay for anything. There are no microtransactions in VR chat, and they put a lot of effort into developing this game while it's still being free. The over the last year, the number of capabilities in VR chat has it's just like exploded. Um, it's kind of fucking amazing. Uh, but this is they have fucked up pretty
Yeah.
hard with this. Um, if you go on the store page for VR chat, now reviews are at overwhelmingly negative, and that is with 30,000 reviews. And it only has 170,000 reviews overall. That's since it came out 5 years ago. So, like, what is that? That's almost 1/6 of all reviews are now negative. And like, that's bad.
Yeah, that review bombing is definitely a thing that gamers like doing when one update gets released that they get mad about. Um, Rust has that issue. People with 1,000 hours play time, and then an update comes out, and they're like, "Hate it! It's ruined. 0 out of 10, negative review," and then they get a bunch of negative reviews. I don't know. sometimes when backlash like this happens, the developer listens and is like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have Denuvo. We should we'll get rid of it.
And they have said they're not rolling back the change
Okay.
because it would cost them money. But they are working on developing all of the things, the major things that people have implemented with mods, so that they can make that less of a problem.
Yeah.
My response obviously is maybe you should have fucking done that before you made this massive change.
Right.
Or maybe like consulted anybody in the community, but you didn't, did you?
No.
You fucking jagoffs. Everyone's switching to Chill Out VR, which I have never played. However, just from looking at the trailer, it looks like literally just VR chat. Down to like the avatars look exactly the same. Like I bet these avatars in this trailer are just ported from VR chat, which
Yeah.
is kind of crazy. So
Probably. And that's what I would think, because I remember you messing around with, I believe, Blender and creating
yeah.
your own avatar.
Yeah, I have been off and on working with that. I got into using this VR. It's the model type is VRM. I can't think of what the tool's called, but it's something that a lot of VTubers use to make a pretty nice character. And now I'm just sad.
Why? Because now you have to switch it over to
Yeah, now I'm probably gonna end up having to switch over to Chill Out VR. Like I got really into VR chat for a little while.
I
Like
remember.
I was paying for it. I was paying for VR chat plus because I believed in this thing. And
I played a couple game nights with you for VR chat, playing like
oh yeah,
board game or like show games, game shows.
game shows. Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, show games. Those things. No, like game shows. And while I think it's neat that they were able to program it in there, I did look at the control board for one of the VR chat things, and those it seems very difficult.
Yeah, and like I think at least one of those was not updated to work with Udon, their new scripting language.
I see.
Which I just that they have that is amazing to me. And it's a free game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Anyway, anything you want to add to this, Connor?
Just like with this breakout chat, I'm excited to see what other people will be turning around and making now that VR chat has decided that they want to drive their ship right into the middle of the ocean, right into the bottom of it.
Yeah, that it happens sometimes. Companies are just like, "Hey, we want to do bad things." Oh, what's this happening? Oh, everybody's gravitating towards the PS4 now. Shit. And then you have the Xbox One, because they decided to go all in with trying to stream TV to your Xbox One instead of actually focusing on games.
Why can't we give people more options to spend money on this stupid piece of plastic?
Yeah. Yeah, and who watches TV now? Not anybody under the age of 50 does not watch live TV. That it just doesn't happen.
50 might be a little too high, I would say.
I was going to say a little 40. Too low. I mean, I'm sure there are people that like have TV on.
Somebody subscribes to Peacock.
Somebody does. And to be fair, I have Sling TV.
Yeah, see? You fucking loser.
No, I DVR everything. I don't watch anything live. It's all DVR'd. And I think that's what most people do now and it's great because I don't have to be, I don't have to be in my room at 8 p.m. I can watch it during work when I'm quote working, like Aroa is totally not working right now. But anyway, we're pretty much done with our show. I don't think we have any other stories to talk about. So I want to thank Connor for being here.
Forget about Stadia.
Did we forget about Stadia? Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Stadia.
I wasn't sure if you already talked about that. Not that it really
No.
fucking matters.
I just like everyone else, I forgot about Stadia. Stadia, apparently, is shutting down, and then there was an update that said it's not shutting down.
Which, I mean, big fucking surprise. Like, the rumors come out that Stadia is shutting down. Google's going to come out and do damage control, whether or not they're actually planning to shut it down.
No, we're
They
not shutting it down.
stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, who,
I-
who cares?
I don't care.
No one.
Nobody.
No one cares.
Nobody plays Stadia. That's why it might be shutting down.
Yeah.
Do we have numbers on how many people actually use Stadia, or have they just not released those because they're so bad?
I doubt that they've released them. As far as I can tell, and from what little I have seen of anybody talking about Stadia, if anything, they'll probably keep going with the with like having the streaming library shit for like the 5 people who actually want to go along with that. But Google's main push is going to be using this for marketing purposes. Like they'll have like Capcom, I think is doing a thing with a demo for Resident Evil where you can play it like in a browser. And so they'll be doing like license bullshit like that so that because Google just loves to make ads. That's all they do.
Well, and then there's certain companies will pay for stuff. We talked about,
Yeah.
I believe AT&T had some game that you could play on. Like if you were an AT&T mobile customer, you could play some game for free without it affecting your bandwidth cap.
Right.
And I think they're going to utilize that a little bit more.
I could see it being like because wasn't like, Comcast I think said that they wanted to do like a streaming service or some bullshit. And
Yeah.
like I could see carriers and other service providers being like you get game streaming for free as part of your bill. And
Yeah.
it just being Stadia doing that on the back
Only
end.
$230 a month for one line. And then you can play this game for free that came out 6 years ago.
And
You earned it.
and it will randomly just turn into a mess of pixels whenever you jump to a different cell tower.
Yeah. So anyway, Stadia, short story. It might be shutting down. It might not. Who knows? It's also worth pointing out that Stadia was supposed to get The Quarry, but the deal fell through, which you played last week, I believe, Aroa.
Oh yeah, we just finished The Quarry, and it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. A lot of people died.
Yeah,
Not only is it the characters making bad choices, it's also the people playing the characters.
Yeah. And now we're playing Man of Medan, and it's going similarly.
I beat that game by myself. Yeah, and I have to say, same thing. It did not go very well. I had quite a few people die. Just so you know, just a little bit of a spoiler. There's a part where you're like beating a zombie to death with a crowbar, and you might not want to do that.
There are zombies?
It's something like that.
When do I meet the Man of Medan?
Was it Man of Medan's the Man of Medan is the shipwreck one, right? Or the ship one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are.
Who's the man?
It is a.
Is it the guy on the boat?
I believe the Man of Medan is the boat itself, or something.
It's the black guy, right? The one with the funky eye. He's got to be the man.
I can't remember, honestly. I just know that there are zombies, kind of. And there's a point where you're beating one to death with a crowbar. And you don't want to do that because you're hallucinating.
Oh, I know what it is. You have to get through all the challenges and you become the Man of Medan.
Who is the Man of Medan?
I can't tell.
It says
I can't
it
tell
says
if you're
Sean.
actually like earnestly responding to me right now.
I don't know. It does say Sean
It's
Ashmore.
the boat.
That's what I
It's
said.
the
I was like, I
boat.
thought it was the boat, right? Like
It
that's what I
is.
said. Okay.
I was just gaslighting you, and I thought you would catch on at some point.
No, I didn't. But it
Oh,
does say
that's great.
Sean Ashmore, stars of the game's leading character.
Who's Sean Ashmore?
No,
Oh, is that
Uh,
Iceman?
It is.
Because I was like, I saw that guy's face. I was like, man, he looks really familiar.
Yeah, it's Iceman. Yeah, it's Iceman
Yeah.
from X-Men. Yeah.
X-Man.
He's fallen. He's fallen down, and
He's the one celebrity that he was in Quantum Break. He was like the guy in Quantum Break.
He loves these video game TV show things.
These video game things.
Yeah.
These
Anyway.
newfangled computer games.
Yeah. Anyway, I would like to thank you for being here, Aroa.
Yeah, I showed up.
Thank
late,
you.
But
Thank you for being here, Connor, the man from Illinois.
It's
man of Medan.
The man
It's
of
me.
Illinois.
I was the man from Medan the whole time.
Oh my God.
And of course, I'm your host, Nathan Reesbruth. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.